Heading to Little Rock, Arkansas from Texas. Left Dallas last night. Heading to our Little Rock, but then we're going to Memphis, to Knoxville, and all these crazy inside cities that we would never go to with no reason to go to. But we're going there because we want to check out what fire escapes they have. Take some photographs with this RV and then doctor up the photographs so that it looks like it's Fire Escape Services inspectional vehicle and such. Power of Photoshop. But we're going to talk about and download our brain about everything that went right, everything that went wrong in Dallas. So if you want to start the conversation off, you can just ask me certain questions that you may or may not have about Dallas, or certain insights that you may or may not have about Dallas.
Well, basically, let's start from the beginning. Basically, we didn't. I don't think we started off well because I think we were rushed because of the whole. We were in Houston, so we were kind of on Sunday. We camped back, right? We got all the tools all set, and we were kind of rushed into it for that Monday. I don't think we were prepared in regards to the setup itself.
Yeah, so you need a day to prepare from now on, right? Never jump start a job.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you.
And then the following day, like you said yesterday, you said about the orientation. I think that's a great idea to orientate these guys before they show up in general.
I was thinking about that last night. We're never going to put out another ad for painters. We're going to put out ads for structural guys. And they got to show up with their own harnesses, their own things, and we make those guys painters.
So that means they're going to be contractors?
No, structural guys. Guys that have worked on heights. They have their own harness, their own hard hats, their own equipment. That's all they need to bring to the job. And we do an orientation just on structural. At the same time, we tell them you have to paint. It's a higher quality guy.
Right.
So no more painter. You know what I'm saying? We pay $10 to $15 based on tools. So would you pay $15 for a guy who shows up with his own harness, his own helmet, his own impact gun? You know what I'm saying? Does he need anything else?
Not really.
There you go. Everything else we'll hand to him, right?
Yeah.
We have sockets, we have this, you know, but so
you're saying we're going to start off structurally from here?
right. We always do start off structurally, meaning to avoid what we just went through. If everybody you hire is a structural guy that you turn into a painter, isn't that a much higher quality guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
There you go. So that's what we just learned today. Every ad we put in a structural ad, get structural guys who own their tools, you know what I'm saying? Bring their tools. If they drop their tools, that's their problem. The more tools they make, the closer they get to $15 an hour.
Right. The more tools they bring, right?
10, 12, 15. And it's level 1, level 2, level 3. You know, level 1 guy shows up there, structural, doesn't own any tools. Give him $10. Structural guy brings his impact gun, his safety harness, and this, that, and the other thing, but doesn't want to watch anybody. Strictly a tech. $12. Comes in, structural, has all the tools, but he can watch 2 other guys. $15.
Is there a limit of 2 guys, 3 guys? Depends on the fire escape.
We're gonna have 6 guys doing structural. What do you care?
There's not too many people though.
They're gonna turn into painters anyway.
So why have? I mean, like you said before, you want say 3 men on Monday, and then a different batch.
But you're changing now. Look what happened here with all your belted guys. Weren't all your belted guys structural and painters at the same time? Aren't you a structural painter? Aren't you structural first, painter second?
Yeah.
All right. Isn't some of the painting that needs to be done can only be done by structural guys anyway? Some of the caulking that needs to be done can only be done by structural guys anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the cement that has to be done can only be done by structural guys anyway?
Yeah.
So why don't you just hire only structural guys that become painters?
Right.
So if you have 6 stories, you have 3 guys as an example, right? You can have those 3 guys do all the painting. Fix the stuff, paint the stuff, move on.
Yeah.
You can have as many guys as you need. Assign each one a floor.
Yeah.
They become painters anyway. If a guy finishes up his floor, he can just move down to help somebody else on another floor. That's just going to get you a higher quality. A guy shows up with a belt, that means he's got some training of some kind.
Right.
I mean,
I agree with that.
so that's one thing you learn from Dallas. What else?
I don't know. Do you have one? Right now I'm drawing a blank.
Tell me about the setup there. So you're saying that
Overall
we
setup.
needed a day to set up because you know, we weren't prepped for these guys, and then we'll talk about the 12-hour days. Does that work? 8 to 8?
It works. Long days. I mean, obviously in the summer times you can only have those, right? Because come winters, if you're doing fire escapes, it's darker. I mean,
Right,
it's
but
still
would you
working.
like to work 4 days as an example? This only applies to like a week's job, because if it's going to be 3 days in and out, should you do 8 and 8, 8 to 8?
Yeah.
Right. But if it's going to be 5, 7, 10 days, should you do 8 to 6 or 8 to 8?
8 to 6.
And it doesn't matter that you have an extra day, right? Because if you get up 8 to 6, you're more rested. You can catch up with yourself. You can go to Home Depot, go to Target, go get more things. Get mentally prepared for the next day. 8 to 8, you barely have any time to eat. You just basically work and sleep and work and sleep, and the chaos gets to you. The mob mentality gets to you.
Yeah, by
The mob
time
shows
you're all
up.
done at 8 o'clock, it's like you really don't. You're so tired that you really can't function doing anything
Right.
else.
So there's fatigue, there's mental fatigue that kicks in. Now, if you're gonna go into a place nearby and it's 3 days, you know, you really got in and get out. Yeah, but you can really function well 8 hours, 8 to 8 on a 3-day adventure. More than that, you can't do it. Let's talk about tooling.
I thought overall tooling was, we had a good amount of tooling. Everything we possibly needed. I mean, we needed just a few things. We didn't have.
Extra sockets, or one set of sockets to complete
Exactly. You bought them eventually. We had sockets except for the long, not for the impact gun. Plenty of the other sides. Tooling. Hand tools, we had enough. Should have gotten more clamps. We needed them for the tarping, especially for the plastic, the encapsulation. We learned a few things on that.
What'd you learn about that?
How to encapsulate the proper way in order not to have rain inside. I never used the ropes on each side, actually on the back and the corner, so that actually helped out a lot. Because it didn't make held it up nice and tight to the fire escape.
What about the plastic tubes?
It didn't rip. Tubes helped out a lot because when you clamp it, usually on that where you clamp it in, or even when you tie it with a rope,
Yeah.
it starts ripping over time throughout the day.
Right. So how do the tubes and the clamps help out with that?
It worked well when I was taking it apart. There was no ripping, nothing. It was there. And it didn't. There was one area that came loose, but I think one of the guys unloosened it because they were doing a paint behind the
magnitude, we should have also had a boom lift, right? Would have gotten this, would have saved us a day's work.
It would have. Especially on the outside, underneath.
Those platforms worked out well.
The ones we bought?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. The guys were under there, they were comfortable under there as opposed to using some sort of ladder or... Because when you use both ladders on each side and you have the, what do you call it, plank, you kind of enclose that balcony in a way, and people can't go in and out of that area. It's easy to go up and down. So these step things are more of a, you can jump over it and get up to the ladder. So
Right.
it's kind of more convenient.
So it allowed you to paint a lot of the underneath.
Yeah.
It could have been a little taller. So you can actually custom build a scaffolding, right? That is unique to fire escapes. That takes that plank, you know, that aluminum plank we built.
Yeah.
So you can custom make a unit that slides in on one side, slides in on the other side, and a middle one if you want, but I don't think you need a middle one. So that it basically doesn't put it in the center, it hugs it to the wall, and it doesn't need any bars because it's a slip over. And the steel slip over is what stops it from, you know, rotating or falling or whatever. It's a square it's a square rectangle that goes over the aluminum plank so that the plank and the steel married become one. I'll design it for you afterwards.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you put that aluminum plank on every floor and it's an easy breakdown.
Exactly, definitely easy breakdown.
So you can have the aluminum platform works on the platform that's the turnaround, but on the straightaways we can use that aluminum plank with an adjustable thing for the height, and I'll show you how that works.
But the same size as what we have those horses.
Our aluminum plank, you know the aluminum plank we have? I'm going to build legs for it, and it's only used for the middle platform. It's not used for the ends. The ends we use the other platforms that we just bought.
Right. Yeah.
But because of that, you're going to need protection around so you're going to need to buy netting, because as you walk up on these and you make the loop around near the stair, there's a potential to fall.
Yeah, that's right.
But if everybody's harnessed and everybody's structural people, you shouldn't have that problem. What else?
The truck worked well, the U-Haul for all the tools that we had.
Yeah.
Good size truck. I don't think we need any bigger than that. What do you think?
Only for a bigger job, but yeah.
Holds the right amount of tools, I thought. Unless you have to get a big ladder. I mean, shit. What's the biggest ladder you said that they have?
32.
32.
Which is 16 feet, and that thing is 17 feet.
Yeah.
So the rental truck is a must. Even in Boston, anywhere we go, depending on the size of the job and how long we're going to be at a job, it makes sense to go get a U-Haul from the area for 20 bucks a day and sit it at the site.
Yeah, because even though we have the sidewalk to work with in regards to putting the blue tarp there and setting up the tools there, there's certain areas in the future that you're not going to have that sidewalk to work with. Because this was a bigger sidewalk. Usually they're smaller than what we had to work with. So the truck come into play will be the actual setup area. And it just in case it rains, you're covered. What else?
Speaking of trucks, what about this camper?
This camper, yeah, worked out well.
What's the advantage of that?
Especially since yesterday we actually were close together, so if you have two trucks, this is the main office, so you can come in here, do your office things. You have the electrical, you have the bathroom, kitchen if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, how come we've had this truck this long, we've never made a cup of coffee in here?
I know.
Which is one of the things that these guys look for. Maybe not in hot Texas, but, you know, but a lot of times you can make some very quick meals, some great break activity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, tell me the advantage of giving somebody you don't know a bottle of water and a sandwich in the middle of the day. Why you do that?
I don't know. I just to make them happy, to show that your kindness. You're there. You appreciate their work.
Yeah, it's true. So you pay $10 to somebody, and you give them all the water they can drink, cold, and you give them a Subway sandwich that costs you $8, and you're working for 12 hours. You pay them time and a half?
No.
Straight time. So if you were to compensate the extra $8, you know, on a 12-hour day, how many cents an hour more do you have to pay them for them to buy their own lunch?
50.
Even if it was 50 cents as an example, right? 50 more cents a day is only another $6 a day they make.
Yeah.
So you give them $10 an hour, all the water they can drink, breaks, and food, a 1-hour break to rest and smoke. That's the reason why you buy lunches and you give them water.
Yeah.
And whenever possible, and you have a kitchen, give them coffee. What else you learned about this job? What about workers like guys that are what they call contractors, like a Jason?
Well, contractors they're hard to work with. They're already set in their ways, and they don't want to take orders, and they want to do it their way, and they don't really listen to what needs to be done. So that's our experience that we've just had here in Texas.
So in our ads, we get anybody that, you know, that's one of our qualifying questions. Hey, are you a general contractor? Can we sub work out to you? And a lot of times they'll say, yeah. So you have workers' comp and liability. Yeah. I'm saying, great. We don't need you. See you later. You know what I'm saying? You know, we'd be polite about it, but basically use that as a qualifying question. If you know how to do our work, can we just sub the work out to you? He goes, yeah, I got everything. Okay, there's a guy that owns a job, calling it a business, and then working for you by the hour, which doesn't happen if you own a business.
Yeah.
It's an indicator that he's a jack of all trades, and he's hungry. But then he comes in, makes a few bucks, and starts yelling at you.
Exactly.
What about the Jasons? The one that we originally
Jason
hired.
won?
Jason 1.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want to learn second time around. Knowing that for the first time, I actually told him that he wasn't present as much as I wanted him to, and he did it again the second time. Speaking to him, and he's always telling me that, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta go do certain errands. So
Yeah, then he hands us somebody that he says is his right-hand man.
Yeah.
When in actuality, it's not. So, you can't work with guys like that either.
Yeah. Because we could have gotten the same
See, that's
or better guys.